Chapter 178. The Puppet King. Danel was overjoyed in his soul by Olad's words and promised to do everything possible to also persuade the others to convert. He then immediately turned to the other councillors and presented to them the grace of God as clear and best he could, and except for one, all followed Danel's words. The one, however, was none other than the Puppet King. The desire to rule only now started to excite him when he became aware that this was the end of his rulership. For as Puppet King, he enjoyed all kinds of ceremonial distinctions, which he relished above all. But now he had to resign from everything. This was just too much for him. He therefore began to contemplate how he could return to his lost dignity. Danel noticed this quite well, and was already loaded to throw some lightning flashes at the head of the Puppet King. But one of the 10 ministers stepped up towards Danel, saying, "It is enough that you 99 have returned to God. There is nothing much to a donkey anyway. After all, who wants to lead his brothers without any natural, moral and spiritual power, but wants to rule purely for the sake of a certain tickling, haughty lechery, is a donkey. For he cannot see that his brothers have long since already recognized this with him, and therefore have put the crown of stupidity on his head. Truly, floods of time will not change this man, for his stupidity stands as firm as a rock." Smash the mountains, make the earth tremble as the foliage of the trees in the storm. Darken the sun and let the stars of the heavens fall to the ground. And this man will stand unshaken. For the donkey does not fear the mighty tiger's powerful paw, and not its crushing tooth, because he knows, like a prophet, that the stronger beings had to be ashamed if they wanted to harm him. Because stupidity is even very much respected by the father of wickedness and falsehood, and the donkey has nothing to fear of his malice. Since shame also presses Satan, he therefore may never associate himself with donkeys. Let him therefore remain on the throne where he can rule the flies and gnats between the walls. And even a gorgeous crown should decorate his grey head. And if he, with very few and always the same words, tremendously sounds the voice of a ruler in the palace, then he should be served fodder in abundance. This is the way we are going to handle it, and so it should remain. The king should pass the time by guzzling, sleeping, and repelling flies. This satire brought the Puppet King almost beyond his senses, and he began to rave and rage thereat. But the speaker of the 10 grabbed him by the ears, and with his miraculous powers, he stretched them to real donkey ears, and said, "Behold, this is the crown. The throne will follow." This made an impression on the puppet king, whose name was Midihal. But he was humbled thereby, and also converted. But his ears he retained for a full 3 years. This story became known throughout the region, and even up to the heights, that the puppet king received donkey ears, and through all kinds of poetry it remained alive until the late descendants. Therefore, also related to the Greek myth of King Midas, who was also graced with donkey ears. Another parallel is found in the works of the 3 days scene, the 12-year-old Jesus in the temple. Even at this temple scene, Midas with the donkey ears was not lacking